Hey guys, Ben Mankiewicz, TYT Sports. Michael Sam, drafted in the 7th round by the Rams. Perhaps you've heard of him if you're a sports fan. Michael Sam has now inked a deal with Oprah Winfrey's own network to star in a reality show as he prepares to, now that he's been drafted, as he prepares for training camp and prepares to try to make an NFL team and become an NFL player. They tried to class up the announcement a little bit by calling it a documentary series, and I'm torn on it, and I think it's okay to be torn on it. It's great when somebody says that their own position is okay, but I think it's okay to be split. I don't think you need to have a strong opinion about this because on one hand, this could be a tremendous, I don't want to sound like an after-school special, but this could be a learning experience for a lot of people. And I don't mean people who don't like gay people, but I mean guys like me. Like this is this guy crosses over. He's an interesting dude because he's a football player, a guy I can identify with as a guy who loves sports. And he's a gay man who stereotypically and traditionally we think, well, gay guys don't like sports, and we know that that's probably an incredibly foolish thing to think, but it can be an enormously effective tool because it'll be a stereotype buster in a lot of ways. And the reasons I like it is it'll be a nice show for a bunch of Americans to see, hey, look, he's a gay guy and he's just mostly a guy. So that'll be terrific. I don't mean mostly a guy, he's totally a guy, but I mean most of what defines him is the same thing that defines every other man. That's what I'm saying, just to be clear. So I like that part of it. The part I don't like is probably the part some of you don't like either, which is it's a fucking reality show and it'll probably suck and none of it feels authentic. Because the idea of reality shows providing us legitimate insight into someone's life has largely gone away. There are occasional shows that break that down. And the idea of a documentary does seem a lot more appealing than a reality show. But, you know, look, a reality, cameras follow Tori Spelling and her husband around all the time, and I don't know that the Michael Sam reality show is going to be a lot different. And it does seem to sort of cheapen his journey and his story as he tries to make it in the NFL, because part of me would also like, hey, just now we've had this big event, and you had this incredibly legitimate moment. The thing of it is, we already saw the reality show. He had this wonderful, authentic moment where he maybe wasn't going to get drafted. The world was watching, the sports world was watching, the rest of the world was paying attention to the late rounds of the NFL draft like they never had. And this kid played at Missouri, gets drafted, and he does what every single person in that situation would do, is turn around and hug and kiss the person who's with them, who's the most important person in their life, and that's his boyfriend. And so we got the people, fools walking off the set of terrible shows in Dallas, and we have many people celebrating it because it was a genuine human moment seeing him kiss his boyfriend. That was great. Seeing him behave differently because there are cameras in his house, I don't know, man. Reality shows don't make me instantly start liking people. One interesting reaction about the Michael Sam reality show came from a Ram teammate who didn't want to be identified. And instantly, when the subject is Michael Sam and there's somebody who doesn't want to be identified, you think they're about to say something hateful, but that's not the case here at all. Josina Anderson of ESPN got the quote from a Rams teammate, and I think that the teammate sort of put in perspective really effectively the two schools of thought regarding Michael Sam's decision. Here's what the teammate said. It's an interesting case that he gets to work with Oprah and have his own show, but I think it does raise eyebrows, and it may be somewhat of a distraction. A lot of talk about distractions all the time in sports. I'm not buying it. You're a professional. There are distractions all the time. The media comes, they interview you. It's a distraction. You ought to be able to stay focused. I don't buy that, but it's a typical thing that an athlete would say. But this is our first time dealing with something like this, so we'll have to wait and see how it plays out and how people react. The player goes on, clearly I'm not sure how everyone feels, but from what I can tell so far, I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. I mean, that quote isn't going to make a headline, but that quote is thoughtful and insightful, and hey, it might be a reaction, it might be good, we've never done it before, I don't know, but I'm a little guarded, but mildly interested. I mean, I don't know who this player is, and I understand that regarding Michael Sam that he probably thinks, you know what, I should probably not, I should remain unidentified but he said nothing bad. Everything he said, totally reasonable. and interesting. So I would love to know who this player is because he sounds like a thoughtful guy. I'm torn because I think some good could come of it, and then it all boils down to the production and who produces it and how well they produce it. And it feels like a branding exercise for Michael Sam. It was a bad decision, and I'm going to hate it, and a lot of you are probably going to hate it. If it feels authentic and that we're actually getting some sort of insight into the human condition, that'll be great. But how many reality shows provide insight into the human condition? And how many of them feel like marketing, feel like branding exercises for the people in the show? We'll see about Michael Sam.